Hello everyone, my name is Zephyr and welcome back to a new episode of Quick Review. This episode is kind of sentimental to me personally as we're going to be taking a look at a Transformer that was one of my earliest Transformers in childhood without even realizing it. This is Transformers Cybertron Universe Override from the Legacy Speedia 500 subline, the Walmart exclusive that has a super long name. Quick backstory. I remember picking this guy up at a Kmart. Yeah, I'm that old. And I did not realize that it was actually a she and that it was even a Transformer. I just remember that this was my very first ever Transformer. So when I heard or when I saw that Override, and by the way, that was the first time of me learning the name of this character and that it was a she, was being remade in the Legacy Velocitron whatever subline, I knew I had to get it. And she is fantastic. Here I have her next to Siege Sideswipe for scale, and she's a little bit bigger because she's technically a Voyager, but as I pointed out in one of my previous videos, she's really just a glorified deluxe. But I am a little bit happy they stuck her in the Voyager price point because, extra detail or whatnot. I really love how they tried to keep her as close to the original figure as possible, essentially just remaking it, but better. I don't have the original figure. I've gotten rid of that one a long time ago. But from what I remember, the transformation is almost the same. It's basically the same figure, but different. And you can even do the cyber key thing. This one doesn't come with the cyber key, but yeah. The only unfortunate thing that I'm showing off here in the video is that the guns don't really do the gimmick that the original toy did, where they flip around in vehicle mode. They're like these big chunky things that kind of stop them from doing so. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it even has the exact same gimmick as the original toy. It's just not mechanical. You have to do it manually. And it's kind of cursed removing the gun from the back of Override because she kind of looks like a souped up pickup truck. But yeah, getting into transformation, I'm sure you've all watched like hundreds of reviews of this figure by now, so I sped it up. But here she is in robot mode, and she shines even more in robot mode, and she looks so fantastic. The original figure, it was great too, but the robot mode was a bit too bulky. It was too wide. It was really disproportionate because you could tell they focused more on the car mode. They fixed that with this figure, this newer one, where the robot mode looks great, it's proportionate, while still making the vehicle mode look fantastic. Some things that I wish they did keep from the original figure were the wheels. I think the original figure had nicer looking wheels, but I'm glad that they went with the red translucent. They brought it back for this figure. And the like little Cybertron key gimmick where the guns could actually flip all the way around in vehicle mode. And even a Cyber Planet key would have been cool, and it would have been a nice throwback. One final nitpick that I have about this new version of Override is that they did not paint the headlights, which I found really annoying, and I found the feet looking really plain because they were just unpainted black. So I had to fix that myself, and yeah, you could see where I had to figure out what kind of paint I wanted to use. But gripes aside, she's a fantastic figure, and she scales pretty well for a newer Transformers figure. Here I have her in robot mode next to Sideswipe, and, she is a Voyager, so I feel like the size is a little unfair, but she scales pretty well. But at the end of the day, I'm just really happy that Hasbro decided to remake this figure in the Legacy line, and she looks exactly like the original. Unlike some figures that I'll get into in a minute. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little review at Legacy Velocitron Speedia 500 Override. Hey, I actually set the full name for once. Because the next portion of the video is basically just going to be me ranting about the new Legacy animated figures. And boy, do I have some opinions. So I'm going to try and keep this short because honestly, I really did think about making this segment its own, like, separate video. But earlier today, we got the first official reveal of the new Transformers Legacy United line, which is the third version of Transformers Legacy, the third year. And in it, we got a first look at the animated Bumblebee and the animated Optimus Prime. And Optimus Prime, he looks great. Animated Bumblebee, on the other hand, I got some problems with. Now, this is my disclaimer because this one figure has already caused such a massive uproar in the Transformers community already. I do not hate this figure. Everything I'm about to say are just personal nitpicks of mine and reasons why I personally do not like it and things that I've just noticed about the figure that I don't like. And if you're one of the toxic people that are bringing Derek J. Wyatt's name into this, first of all, shame on you. And second, anyone who personally knew the guy could tell you that he would have roasted the fuck out of this figure, but would also end up buying 10 of them. So who are you to say what he would have liked and wouldn't have liked? With that out of the way, I'm going to be starting in robot mode because that's where a lot of people's complaints started. And a lot of people were angry about how weird his shoulders were, but that was just him being mistransformed. The shoulders actually look fine, and that's one of the things I'm okay with. The reasons why I personally don't like this animated Bumblebee is because he's a bit too bulky. He's too chonky. When animated Bumblebee is supposed to be like really slender and slim. I know TFA was only supposed to get 4 seasons and it was cut short just down to 3. But if you're telling me this is animated Bumblebee, then this must be season 5 Bumblebee where he got into his fucking gym bro arc. Because he is bulked up the ass. And again, I don't hate this figure. I've actually warmed up to it and seen him officially transform. He does look a lot better. My main gripes are his vehicle mode, but again, that's just me nitpicking because, well, I'm a car guy, and if I see an ugly looking car, I'm going to voice my opinion about it. But getting into the vehicle mode, this is where I have a massive problem with the figure because he just does not look like Animated B at all. The only reason he looks like Animated B is because of the overall shape and like the small major details that Animated B is supposed to have. But just looking at the back of the car, it looks like they didn't even try or like even try to cover it up with any sort of paint whatsoever. But just thank goodness that you're at least able to cover some of that ugliness up with the rocket boosters that he comes with because it just looks so ugly and like they didn't even try. And look, this isn't me trying to sway your decision on whether you should buy this figure or not, because if you're someone who genuinely likes this figure and the way they look, then more power to you. I'm not gonna sit here and try and gatekeep this figure because I think it should be a certain way. But me personally, I just really am getting annoyed at Hasbro trying to push this G1ified stuff onto the animated figures because it kind of ruins the aesthetic a little bit. And don't even get me started on this thing. This is just an insult. I know it's going to sound very hypocritical of me to say this because the original Auto Trooper was basically just a repaint of an already existing figure, but they literally just took a figure that they already had in the line, slapped on a new coat of paint and a new head, and that's it. Like, this does not look anything like an animated figure except for just a head. And for a lot of us, that's not enough. This truly is the most uninspired attempt at anything animated I've ever seen, and it's just kind of insulting. But you know what? Not all hope is lost, because this figure is what all of the other animated figures should have looked like. Prowl is probably the closest that fits the animated aesthetic and style, but this hits it right on the mark, and I really hope they see more stuff like this. This Prime looks beautiful, and someone has already digibashed a repaint of this guy to look like the Toxitron animated Prime. After seeing this animated Voyager Prime, you can really tell where a lot of the budget towards the animated Legacy figures went into, because the others are just okay, but this one really hits the nail on the mark. All honesty, even though I have my critiques on these figures, I still may or may not pick them up. The only reason I don't pick them up is because I have the originals, and I'll just wait for the repaints, because there definitely will be repaints. We already have one confirmed for Optimus, and it's the Motormaster. But as for Bumblebee, I really hope we finally get that Fugitive Wasp repaint, because otherwise I probably won't pick him up, and if I do, it'll probably just be to repaint him myself. One more thing before I close off this video, because I just found this. Some scumbag is already trying to sell off this figure, and just don't buy it. For $100, you could just get yourself the original animated Bumblebee, which is better in every way. And if you really want this figure, just wait for it to actually hit store shelves. But with all that being said, I hope you guys still enjoyed my quick review of the Legacy Override figure from the Velocitron 500 Walmart subline, and my little rant about the upcoming Legacy United animated figures. I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings too bad, but if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe, as it greatly helps out.